Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League, using my vast experience of over 20 years coaching and doing many other things in the footballing community. I'll give you a different insight into the games that most people don't. Today we're going to be covering Manchester City and Aston Villa, and hopefully maybe you can use something to either coach your team or become a better player from what I'm about to say. So let's look at this first goal and see what we can see. So as we can see, there's a couple of things really going on here. And one of the main focuses I want you to look at is look at this back five here, right? They're doing this because they've got two wide players here. And one of my other videos, I was explaining, I think it was Spursy, about the impact of having wide players and actually staying out on the touchline and what that does here. Now, there's a better way of playing than having five at the back, but most coaches genuinely can't coach it. Not only can they not coach it, they don't understand the principles of it. Because what happens here is you get pockets of space back here and a pocket of space that is defended over on this wrong side over here. This guy needs to be over here, and they're not understanding this, okay? You can afford to have the space on this side because the ball is right here on this side. That's important. If the ball's on this side over here, this player can be over here, but he's not. He needs to be tucked in over on this side. And the speed in which these players are pressuring and trying to win the ball back is not fast enough. So this guy should already be here, and he's not. And he should already be ready to cover. They're all being lazy in the midfield here. And that's what I mean about the actual coaching, is the pressing of the ball and having a unit of 4 in the midfield that can actually press correctly. Not 3, 4 in midfield. And that's why they don't do it, because it's easy to coach 3 in midfield. It's hard to coach 4 in midfield. That's why everyone plays a 4-3-3. That's the honest truth. It goes back from Total Football and Ajax playing the inverse diamond, which everybody does now. It's a huge thing, because coaching the 4 in midfield is completely and utterly different. Having 2 wide wingers and 2 up front, they can't coach it. That's why they don't do it, right? And it all stems back to the youth level, because they have to do it at the youth level first to implement it all the way through. And they can't do it because it's just too difficult for them. So it's easier to just coach 3, give them one job. You're a defensive midfielder. Do I get to run forward with the ball? No, you just do one thing. That's your job. It's easier for them to try to do that. But as I digress, I could go on about the academy for years because I helped write the programs for it. Right, so when you run right here, what you can do is you can run at the back 5. I'll say back 4 every now and again, and he opens up the space, because as soon as he runs in, what this idiot does is he starts to come and pressure the ball. The reason why you've got the 5 is so you can have the extra spare player to cover the man wide. This guy needs to be pressuring the ball. Let's see what happens as we move this forward. Body, blah. Oh, look, he starts going to the ball. But I haven't even watched this clip properly yet, and I already know that's what's going to happen. Mate, you're awful. Now, you've completely negated the fact of having a back 5, because not only are you out of shape, look at his body shape. He's going over here. He's got his back to this player. He's completely opened up the gap here. This guy here has made the space because he hasn't understood he needs to be the pressure on the ball, and this guy doesn't understand he's the spare player in the 5 and just tracks his wide runner. He doesn't get involved in that play, because if he tracks the wide runner, he cuts that pass out from this player. I mean, how are these guys coaching professional football is beyond me. So now when this ball's played out here, this guy and this guy are completely in no man's line. Neither of them went to this ball, neither of them marked this player. They were just ducking and diving, pretending they knew what they were doing. But they did open up this little pocket of space, this little gap here. Even so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 midfielders, and I know one of them is probably a high wide striker, blah blah, and that's the problem again. They all just ditch their responsibilities because they go, well, it's not really my job. I'm a forward now, and no, you should have been tucked in helping. So you can start seeing the spaces already happening, because we know of all the Man City videos I've done. Funny how I seem to know how Man City play. They're trying to get down here into the half space with either 1 or 2 combinations of passing, and then cut it back inside the scoring funnel. Let's see what happens, shall we? Oh, look, he cuts it back into the scoring funnel, where guy comes in and taps the ball into the net box. Completely ran past his marker. Easy to mark, easy to cut out. We had 2 defenders here, so they can't play an easy pass like that. Look at where they're stood. He knows. Right, look at this. That's how bad they are. He knows there's a player on the line. So, well, what are you doing now? After a player's on the line, you can come inside and cut down that pass coming through there. He doesn't do it. He does the exact same job as him. So if you're playing, this is the problem when you're playing a back 5 instead of a back 4, is because you genuinely often get 2 players doing the same job. Normally, it's funny, it's normally out of the 3 centre-backs, it's 2 of them doing the same job and getting in each other's way. Not normally the 2 wide players that are getting in each other's way. But this, they clearly are. Look. Absolutely doing the same job on the line. There's no point of you both being there because one of you is going to cut the ball out. There's no need for the second one. The other person should be cutting down this space so that ball doesn't get cut through. Or the midfielder can be tracking with his run properly. Overall, they do a poor job. It's funny on the highlights, I really couldn't find a VAR decision here with the lines drawn. I think this guy's playing him on here, on his shoulder. Unfortunately, I don't have like a straight line tool, because my freehand drawing is not the best. But I had a feeling that this guy was offside when I saw it in real time, and I really can't confirm it because I can't, draw a proper straight line down. And the only one playing on maybe here. But when it comes to City, I don't trust the VAR one little bit. Just wanted to add that in there for you guys. Okay, this is an interesting one here. There's a couple of things that happen, right? I used to have a good old friend coach. She told me, Mr. Bailey, hello, man. You can't defend a good 1-2 or a good wall pass. You can't. If the runner's going correctly, the ball comes in, he can run. He can always beat you into the space. Now, Man City are defending too high here. And what's happened here is one of them has gone in because of this runner here. This is the reason they get the extra space. This guy's run offside and he comes back over here. And he's pulled, I think this is Nathan Ake, probably not, can't remember, back with them as well, which has opened up this space to be able to play this pass. Now, normally you wouldn't be able to play this pass. Why? It's one of the things I wanted to comment about the Aston Villa defence doing as well. The Aston Villa back five were playing almost where this guy is up here, instead of about back there. The difference there is that means this space here, that they would have been closed down because they'd been back here, is now given to them inside the 18-yard box. They've got all the space from here now all the way into the 18-yard box just because of those extra 5 yards stepping forward. And that enables them to make this pass, because if it's a bad pass, they've got an extra 5 yards to recover, they'll take a touch and do a finish. The other thing that happens wrong here with the City player is look at what he's done with his body shape. He has followed the ball, the track of the ball, so he's turned away that way, and this player's got the jump on him. Because his body shape's gone like that and turned towards the ball, this guy's got an extra half a yard on him. So he's taking 1-2 steps, and this guy's taking 1-2 steps to go around in a circle, while this guy's taking 2 steps to get down the field. And then what happens is, because he hasn't watched the runner, and he's been watching the ball, the runner now can get in behind him and get him. Now all this guy has to do is tuck it between the keeper's legs, quality little finish, but it could all have been avoided. Let's get on to the next goal. This is a Foden free kick. Goes flying into the corner. Top corner. That's not what I want to talk about. The strike's not very good. It's on target, and that's about it. It goes in, bosh, but that's not what I want to talk about. Let me show you what I want to talk about. This is the reason they lose that goal. They're at 1-1. This makes it 2-1 to City, and this is the difference. If you win in a game away, sorry, were they at home? I think they're away. Etihad, yeah, they're away. Winning away and putting up a fight, or just being absolutely poor and getting beaten 4-1. Look at this guy's body shape. He has turned, he's opened up a gap, and it just so happens, because Foden's got the ball on target, it's a poor pass. Keeper's really got no chance. So remember, the keeper sets up the wall to defend one side of the goal, he defends the other, and hopefully it does its job. Now, you can see that the ball just goes straight between the wall, because this guy here just doesn't know what he's doing. Well, honestly, I think he's just a coward. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's turned his back, and that's the reason why they've just lost a simple goal. If you're in a wall, do your job. Take the ball in the face. That's what you get. You get paid to do. Do your job. Again, this is a problem with the back five. So when you've got, when I'm talking about the back five, you're really taking the player out of midfield, okay? So they can actually overrun you in midfield. So you go, oh yeah, we've got a back five, so it means you can actually, protect your flanks a little bit easier. But if you've got a solid midfield, you can do that anyway. If you've got 4 in midfield and two solid banks of 4 and they're working properly, you can deal with all that anyway. But what ends up happening, as I said, is you get people in the middle not doing a job. Now you've got 4 Man City midfielders here, technically 5. I know he's up front, but yeah. Right, so you've got basically 4 in midfield, 1 up front here, 5, and you've got 1 marking. They're marking here. He's not doing his job here. He's kind of marking there, but he's not goal side, so he's not really marking. So this is one thing people do go, oh yeah, he's marking him. No, he's not, because if this guy can still receive the ball easily. He can completely and utterly still receive the ball. This player needs to be another 2 yards back over here, and this guy's too busy ball watching, and he's not looking at closing this player down here. And he needs to be, because he can afford to step out, because there's 5 at the back. If there wasn't, he wouldn't be able to be doing this, but he can. So this guy here is focused here. This is an old right foot, left foot, feet shuffle technique. If that's why you practice these things, go a little donk, knocks it across, and he just finishes it. It's that simple and easy, just because no one's bothering to mark. They've got too many players deep that aren't really doing anything. You can't just have 5 people back and not have pressure on the ball and sit back and just try to soak up pressure against the Man City team. You're just not going to win. It's not going to happen. And it's completely set up wrong. And those players just don't really know what they're doing, and they're just kind of getting like, oh, well, I'm not going to go, you're going to go mentality. This is the reason City score this next goal. He's dawdling on the ball like a muppet, and the first thing he needs to do is get rid of it. He needs to just deliver that ball straight there as fast as possible. You can see he's looking for it, and maybe not even give it to feet. Just get it here into the space a little bit of ways. He doesn't do it. Ends up getting robbed, and Foden gets himself a hat-trick in this game. But again, look at the situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Villa players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Man City players. It's the setup. You cannot play. And if you look at this midfield here, this is like, oh, well, yeah, but we're playing a 3, with 3 up front. Yeah, you leave yourself exposed here, and you leave yourself exposed here all of the time when you're playing a system like this. And if someone says double pivot again, I want to laugh at how pathetic these human beings are. Go get 2 nails, stick it in a piece of wood and tell me there's 2 nails in the piece of wood and you can pivot it now. If you've got 2 people in midfield, you can't pivot. The point of a pivot is having 1. The ball comes in and it comes out. That's how they're playing now. With 2, it gives you stability, and it's not called a double pivot. The stupid things that people repeat just because they don't know what they're talking about amazes me. But obviously there's these 3 now, and he just gets the turn. He slips on this as well. Bosch puts it into the net box. I think the keeper could have done a bit better, to be fair. He's rooted to the ground. But overall, I don't think Villa set up properly to win this game or do anything in this game. I think they were just throwing it away, and I think the manager, he was just trying a couple of things just to see what he could and couldn't do. I don't think he was too bothered to really put it to Man City in this game. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.